You ever think about things our parents made sure we knew growing up and wonder why we don't see them anymore? The first time I heard of quadrille, I was about 13 or 14 years old. This was back in Brooklyn when I used to dance Panamanian folklore. Those of you who don't know what that is, I'm talking about dancing like Congo and Típico. And if you know anything about Panamanians in New York back then, the community was so strong. Our parents did not play about culture. They made sure no matter where we lived, we knew exactly where we came from. So we weren't just dancing, we were learning history through movement. And one of the dances that was taught to us was quadrille. If you never heard of quadrille before, let me break it down real quick. Quadrille is a partner dance usually performed in groups of 4 couples, almost like a square. Each couple has a role and the dance is made up of specific steps and sequences. It's very structured, very coordinated, but at the same time, it depends on the island. Now, originally, quadrille comes from European ballroom traditions, France and England. It was brought into the Caribbean during the colonial times. It didn't stay European because Black Caribbean people took that structure and transformed it. They added rhythm, they added syncopation, they added life. They turned something formal into something cultural. So in places like Jamaica, Trinidad, St. Lucia, Dominica, quadrille is still alive today. Yes, even in Panama within the Afro-Antillean community, quadrille existed. Now fast forward, years later, I moved to Panama with my kids, and I've been in Panama for over a decade. This is what really surprised me. In all of my time in Panama, I have never seen quadrille or even performed. Not in schools, not at cultural events, not even spaces where folklore is supposed to be celebrated. And that's when I started to realize this isn't about a dance. This is about visibility. This is about whose culture gets remembered and who gets left out of the story. Because let's just keep it real. Panamanian folklore is often presented in a very specific way. Not that I don't love it, but it's very polished and nationalized version of culture. So what happens when Afro-Antilleans influences? What happened to them? The Caribbean roots, the traditions that came from migration, the struggle and survival. Where do those go? Because quadrille didn't just disappear. It was either not prioritized, not institutionalized, or not seen as representative enough for the national identity. And that's a deeper conversation because when something isn't taught in school, when it's not put on stages, when it's not funded, documented, or even celebrated, it fades. Not because it lacks value, but because it was never given the same platform. So now I have to ask, why did the diaspora communities in Brooklyn preserve this better than the own country itself? And what does that have to say about us? Because the truth is, culture, it just doesn't disappear. It's either preserved intentionally or lost systematically. So now I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever seen quadrille performed in Panama before? Have you learned about